Hey everyone, and welcome back to Master Site. Today we are going to go over the Lady of the Lake GT for 2024 and the army that I'm going to be taking, which will be goblins because, well, Travis wasn't able to make it and I was taking his army anyway, so I said, you know what, I'm just going to play him and see how badly I can screw things up. Also, want to shout out Tom Anus recently played Goblins, so clearly anybody can play him. So, but let's go over the tournament rules and information, then we'll get into the list action. So, Lady of the Lake, 2,300 points plus the special knight character. This is a tournament I went to last year, and the rules are the exact same. In fact, it's the 2023 rule pack, so you'll see maybe wrong dates in here and whatnot. Trust me, I asked. It is the correct information. So everything's the same. If you're familiar with last year's rules, then this is going no new information here for you. So um, the one of the interesting things is that they do allow allies at this event. So there will inevitably be somebody that takes allies at the event. Um, so yeah, 2,300 points. Allies are allowed under the normal ally rules. The Knight Champion. So the Knight Champion, he's worth 200 victory points. He is a individual on a cavalry base. His stats are pretty darn good for an individual on a cavalry base. Speed 8, hits on 3s, defense 5. 6 attacks is really nice, and a 14-16 nerve. He also comes with unit strength 1 built in. All the Knights champions have Holy Protection, which in the end means that Host Shadow Beast cannot affect them, nor can somebody attack them with Host Shadow Beast. It was not balanced when you give armies like Riftforged Orcs free individuals to cast Host Shadow Beast on, so they comped that basically. And then everybody's able to equip their Knight Champion with up to 15 points worth of artifacts, and this can be any combination. So, like 3 5-point items, a 10 and a 5, or just a 15-point item. These also do not limit you from taking them in your core army as well as on your knight. So for me, there can be 2 Warbow combos, 2 Blades of Slashing, something like that. So, yeah, it'll be, a little uniqueness, little interesting thing that every knight has going for them. So, and then each of your knights will have slight unique variants based off of your alignment of your main faction. So, good are paladins. They are all of them are going to be cavalry, individual, very inspiring, mighty. The good guys get elite and iron resolve, as well as radiance of life. The neutral is the ranger. They get pathfinder, regeneration 5 up, and a unique special rule, one with nature. Which at the end of the movement phase, all units within 6 inches, all friendly units uh, are given a barkskin token. It says all units within 6 inches, but I'm pretty sure that's meant to be all friendly units. You don't want to give your opponents barkskins. So everybody's given a barkskin token as normal barkskin counts. So they ignore the first wound suffer and reduce the barkskin instead. And it stacks with other barkskin. And then the Shadow Knight, which are evil goblins, will have it comes with Vicious, Life Leech 1, and Cloak of Death, which turns out is pretty darn good for goblins. They might as well get some Cloak of Death in there. Why not? Open lists, models, that's all same. Terrain at Lady Lake is quite unique and interesting. Very thematic tables. We have some very large pieces of terrain. Some of them impassable, and you're playing on a smaller board, so that'll be interesting with goblins as well. Um, but yeah, and then scoring, that is it's probably the most unique thing about Lady of the Lake. So there's a list of 12 scenarios, which we will go over briefly. Not too terribly in depth, but we'll go over all 12 of those in just a moment. You get to pick one of those scenarios to play in each of your 5 rounds, and you can't duplicate over multiple rounds. And then your opponent also picks, and you each reveal at the same time. And everybody is playing every scenario, so there's always going to be 2 scenarios. Sometimes, if you and your opponent pick the same one, then the points just double. Um, but battle points are awarded based off each scenario. We'll go over that in just a moment. And then attrition is just cumulative. There's a possibility of 3 points of attrition. So you have to kill 1900 points or more. And remember, the Knight's champion is worth 200. So we're effectively playing 2500 point armies. So as long as your opponent has 600 points or less remaining, you get the max points for kill. And then there's also every round you want to control terrain pieces at the end of the game. That is worth an additional point. So, so in total, both scenarios are each worth 3. So that's 6 scenario points. Kills worth an additional 3, and terrain is worth 1. So each game you get a max of 10 total points. Pretty straightforward. So total for overall, there's the 50 battle points, 10 per round that we talked about. They have a 30 points of painting, 30 points of sport, and 15 bonus points, which are effectively just signing up on time, getting lists in. I think there's a tournament reroll that's like a donation to a charity fund. You get a tournament reroll off of it, so that's it's always useful. Um, yep. Like we said, battle points are worth 10 each round. You're always awarded 1 because if you get 0 attrition points, that's worth 1. So, um, sportsmanship, 30 points. You receive 1 for showing up to each game. Receive 1 for having printed copy of your list. Receive 1 for a good game vote each round. Receive 1 for I would play them again, and receive 2 for each best game vote at the end of the day. So, um, yeah. And then appearance points, there's a, yeah, painting checklist. So, um, and the bonus points. So, I was told that because this wasn't updated from last year, some of these are going to be a little bit more lenient or potentially not even there, so might be defaulting that people get these points. But registering, submitting your list, and then participating in the charity, and then submitting an individual into the individual painting contest that they have. So it has to be a model that's not in your army. And then, yeah, they want you to have fun. So let's go over the scenarios real quick here. Like I said, I'm not going to go in depth terribly. I don't want to make you sit here for an hour to read all these, but yeah, each one is worth. Or there's 12 scenarios. You only have to pick one for each of the 5 rounds. So we're not even going to play half of these. So the first one is effectively the dominate scenario. Um, your Knight's Champion's worth 3 unit strength. Winning the scenario gets you a battle point. Having 50% more unit strength than your opponent gets you an additional one. And your Knight Champion in the Dominate Circle gets you the last point. Um, the next one is leave them leaderless, kill your opponent's Knight Champion and other heroes. For first person to kill a hero receives a battle point. Knight's champion being killed is worth 1, and the first player to remove all opposing heroes receives 3 battle points. Got their army. Your opponent tells you 3 units that are the highest points. If multiple units are the same points, then your opponent gets to designate which one for the scenario. Each one you kill is worth a battle point. Send the messenger. The Knight's champion becomes the messenger. It cannot move at the double. Messenger ends the game. If it's fully on your opponent's half of the board, you receive 1. If it's in the opponent's touching the opponent's table edge, wait. Messenger ends the game fully on the opponent's half of the board. You receive 1 point. If the messenger successfully delivers a message, opponent does not score any kill points for killing him, and you receive 2. If you kill your opponent's messenger, you receive 1. Okay, so yeah, I don't foresee us picking that one. I don't care for that. Your knight, your knight's here to fight, not send a message. Pillage. Yeah, you pillage. There's 3 objective tokens that you place. If you chose this, you place 2. Your opponent places 1. You deploy them just like normal pillage. They're each worth a point. Control. You get 1 battle point if you control 2 or more zones, 1 battle point if you win the scenario, and 1 if you control the center square on your opponent's half and they do not control your center square. Partake in the Holy Grail loot scenario. Each player designates one of the tokens to be their Holy Grail. You score 1 point for winning the scenario. You score 1 for holding your Holy Grail, and you score 1 if you prevent your opponent from holding the Grail. Kill scenario. Instead of calculating, you calculate based off unit strength. You earn 1 battle point for destroying a unit in your opponent's army. Yeah, that's easy. Okay. Destroy a unit in your opponent's army. That is equivalent to the highest unit strength value. All right, so for us goblins, it's our hordes of goblins. You receive 1 for winning the scenario, and receive 1 for destroying double or more unit strength rounded up. Cool. Saves the damsel. You place a loot token on one of your units. Following the normal loot token rules, the token represents the lady. If you control the token at the end of the game, 1 battle point. If you control your opponents, 1 battle point. If you control both, you earn an additional battle point. Yeah. Show the mercy. Tell which units, 3 units are the lowest point cost units. If multiple units qualify, yada yada, the opponent decides killing one of these units worth 1, killing all 3 is worth 1, and preventing your opponent from killing more than one of these units is worth an additional 1. Cool. Merlin's Duel. The Knight Champion gains Lightning Bolt 4. Yeah, that could be useful for us with goblins. You score 1 wound on any non-individual unit. You earn a point. You earn 1 battle point if you score at least 1 wound on your opponent's Knight Champion or cause Barked Skin token to be removed. Glad that was there. You earn 1 battle point if you cause more wounds with the spell than your opponent by the end of the game. And last but not least, invade scenario. Knight Champion becomes unit strength 2. You receive 1 battle point for your Knight Champion fully on your opponent's side of the table. You receive a battle point for preventing your opponent's Knight Champion from ending on your side. And you earn 1 battle point for winning the scenario. Okay. I'll review those when we do the battle reports, but that gives you a general idea. And it gets even more confusing when we're playing 2 of those different scenarios at the same time, trying to keep track of what we score and when. So, yeah, but it's a fun time. The chaos is great, and we're gonna play goblins to just induce more chaos. So, I didn't even bother renaming this. I'm playing Travis Tim's Masters List. And so I will be doing my best Travis Tim cosplay impression. I got to get out my, what does he eat? Not wheat thins. The Wheaties cereal thing. Wheaties? Is that what they're called? Wheaties. Eat Wheaties. So goblins are fun. We got a regiment of rabble with the orb. We have 6 hordes of rabble, 3 war trombones, 3 sharp stick throwers, a mincer, 3 Wingets, a Flaget with the Boomstick, 3 Wizards with Lightning Bolt. Those are our cheapest units, by the way. We got Magua and Joe's, and then we got 2 Kings on Chariots, both Blade of Slashing and a Pipes of Terror for 24 drops, the most at Masters, so I assume the most at this tournament, and 27 unit strength. Very respectable. And our Knight Champion is obviously the evil variety. For our points, I went ahead and I'm gonna do Blade of Slashing, Staying Stone, and Healing Brew. Um, could have chosen not to do the Healing Brew and done the Warbow Akaba, but he can get Lightning Bolt on some of those scenarios, and um, although I don't know if I expect many people to really pick that into this army, but we'll probably pick it one time. So I think Healing Brew's worth it still. Staying Stone's great. Make it a 15-16. Try to get the Life Leech every turn that we can. Blade of Slashing when we have Vicious, and Crush 1, Thunder 2 just seems like a value. So yeah, so that is our list. It should be fun. I've played against this army many a times. Not actually recently though, and so I've never actually piloted this army. So this will be a raw first time experience. I I have the secondhand experience, so I'm not going to promise anything spectacular here, but we'll just roll some dice and see if we can get some lucky goblin blasting off, or if we just, detonate ourselves, which I wish was more of a possibility with goblins, but we didn't really take anything that kills ourselves, so we'll have fun one way or another. So that is all I got for you tonight. I appreciate you all for watching, and we'll see you on the first battle report.